Look, if you manage to get Jeff Bridges from doing film to doing television, you've got my attention. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. This is one I've had marked on my calendar for quite some time. I've been waiting for this one. If you've noticed on this show, I don't do the big shows like The Boys or Miss Marvel, mainly because I'm a small channel and I feel like I get lost in the sort of the sauce. There's so many people talking about this and that. Do I love watching those shows and I would love to talk to them? Yeah. But my time is also precious, and I don't have time to talk about everything, and I don't really see the desire or need to talk about those shows uh, when I'm only going to get like 4 or 5 people to comment or talk about them or view them. With these shows, though, with shows like this, those little niche shows, those little small shows, and I'm like, that's more my, I care about that one. I'm going to talk about this. So the old man has had me amped from the jump. When I saw that it was both Jeff Bridges and John Lithgow, sign me up. And FX for me has been one of those networks that consistently puts out quality work. Like a lot of the shows that I really like, Justified and all of the Sons of Anarchy, those type of shows are all sort of based here on this network. So I'm loving what we're getting from this. So the first 2 episodes have aired. They're just simply called 1 and 2. Very simple. Not giving these episodes title names. And it starts off, there's a character named Dan Chase. That's who Jeff Bridges plays. And mind you, this is based off of a book, which I have not read. So I'm going in blind. I don't have much information to go off of. But Jeff Bridges plays a character named Dan Chase, who has been in seclusion for the last 30 years. He used to work for the CIA. He used to do a lot of the dirty work, a lot of the mess, a lot of the muck. That used to be his thing. And he's been sort of in hiding for 30 years. He has a kid who he has put sort of away from him. So any danger that he may still come back to find him, he sort of has put her away. And his wife has recently passed. Let's say it's about 5 years has passed due to some sort of degenerative cognitive loss as she sort of lost her faculties. And so we started this episode with him kind of going through the routine of he also losing his faculties, being that old man who has that routine. You see the struggle of getting up and doing sort of the mundane things. Um, Jeff Bridges is probably one of the best actors to say absolutely nothing but convey so much. Like just off of his face, the way that he delivers, the mannerisms, the ticks that he does, he's a master of this, and it all comes across very well with Dan Chase. He also has his 2 dogs, Dave and Carol, who he's given human names to, which comes up, but they do a lot of the other things that he can't quite do. They are kind of his backbone, his his blue. If you were talking about Owen from Jurassic World, that's who those 2 dogs are for him. And so the story really picks up. Well, you even see it as he's walking down the street that he currently lives in. You can tell that there's something amiss with the person that they sort of pass by in this like coffee shop sitting in the window. You can tell that he's kind of hawking them. But basically, his past catches up with him, and so Dan has to take this person out, and he kind of has to go on the run. And so this cat and mouse game sort of starts with Dan having to go on the run while Harold, played by John Lithgow, chases him. He knows him. They're aware of each other. He's aware of him. They've had some history a long time ago, but Harold knows how badass Dan is, and Dan is trying to remember how badass he is. And what I love about this is that a lot of the times you get these type of returning to form type of shows, like with John Wick or Nobody, or to a lesser extent Equalizer, because he's Equalizer. McCall is still actively working. But you get these people who have not used their skills in a very long time. They kind of just go right back like old hat, like nothing's happened. With 30 years passing, Dan, when he was in this, was in his prime. He was still doing things quick, well. At the end of this, we have a moment where it looks like Dan is getting caught. His mind seems to have been slowing down. He's not able to do things, but he's clearly still quicker than a lot of people that get sent after him. But his physicality is obviously going to be a lot slower. And so there's a pretty intense and great sequence at the end of this where he outsmarts one of the 2 people that are sent to get him, but the other there's a long tit for tat fight that occurs with putting people in sleepers, punches, and he takes a lot of damage. It is great to me to watch something that is realistic where he does just not get to go right back on that horse. And even though he kind of takes an L in this fight, he is still thinking several steps ahead of this person to know that I can still find a way to get out of this. And Harold knows that even with them having the call, it's like, yeah, we got him, we're bringing him in. He doesn't believe it. He sees the camera, he's watching. He's watching everything intently because he knows this can go off the rails. And Dan is about that life, and it's going to turn real quickly. And it does. As soon as you see him put that seatbelt on, you know, oh yeah, he's about to dislodge this man. This car is about to take a turn, and it's a really cool looking shot that occurs where we're looking in the back seat from sort of the shoulder view of where Dan is, and you see the car kind of flip and go and go, and then all of a sudden, the person that is trying to capture Dan is like upside down on the car. Beautiful shot. It's really well shot. Will say that less is more a lot with this show. This show is very deliberate and slow paced. My type of speed. It's that CIA, FBI, espionage thriller where it does not. Sometimes you can get over actiony in some of those things, like Bourne. This is sort of like take that back a bit and let the characters breathe and have some humanity before we kind of get into the muck of it. Episode 2 kind of bleeds in right after that. They do that on purpose with these first 2 episodes. Episode 2 bleeds in because he's on the run. Now he's got to figure out what he wants. Harold is aware that Dan has a daughter, and so he's doing everything possible to kind of find that piece so that he can get in on Dan. And Dan has said specifically, like, you go after her, then I'm coming after you with a reign of terror that you've never seen before. You can come after me, go after her, I'm going to kill you. And so Dan gets to this place that's sort of like an Airbnb. He rents a room. What he thinks is a room where the owner or the person that's there on the property is not there, and he'll just have the room to himself with his 2 dogs. 2 dogs, which on the notice says they can't have dogs, but he has them anyway. But the owner is there. Zoe, I believe it's Zoe, played by Amy Brenneman, is a divorcee wife and mom who owns the property and is giving him the room. And they sort of create this chemistry together. They're both broken. He is 5 years a widow. She is 5 years of divorce. And they kind of have that moment where they sort of rekindle the ability to love. Not necessarily falling in love with each other, but the ability to be around humanity and human touch or feel or emotions. They find that in each other. And it builds sort of this rapport. They go out to dinner. He's cooking for her. She allows them eventually to keep the dogs there. She after first saying that she won't. They are building this bond that we all know is going to probably come back to bite them in the butt because he is forming another attachment that is going to end up dangerous for him. Harold finds, or at least the team that he has looking up, has found that Dan's daughter has died by suicide. Now, that is believed to be false, probably false information, because there is somebody that he's talking to now. It could be Dan is still having conversations with people to lead them off the trails, and it's somebody else that he's talking to. But it seems like he's still getting texts from people from his daughter saying like, "Where are you? Are you back on the road?" So it's like he just has the record sealed where she actually is and off the record. So instead of going after the daughter, he now has to go directly after Dan, which is not going to be the best idea. So what we see at the very end is that Harold has to hire what is considered to be the best of the best of the best of the best, a number that he was given to sort of, look, if you call this number, it's going to get messy, but you're going to get the job done. And he calls this number, and he gives him the address that Dan is staying at. And the address is of Zoe's house because there was a traffic stop that occurred that they were able to get a photo of Dan and gets to the FBI, and they know he knows exactly where it's at, and that's how the episode ends with where we're now going to see the bond that is sort of being built between Dan and Zoe is going to be tested because there's going to be a war coming in on him and to see how well he is at doing so. I do love the first episode has a little bit more action in it. The second episode is a bit more character driven with the conceit that the following episodes from this are going to build on that connection they had there and how he has to save both himself and keep this going, so it stay on like this, the fugitive, if you will, stay on that move, so that he can stay a couple steps ahead of the people that are coming after him. Second episode, like I said, deals with more with the character. I love the diner sequence that they have together, where they kind of learn, where she tells the story of how her divorce came about from two different angles within her own mind, the games that she plays with herself to tell herself. Um, that was fascinating to see. Amy is killing it in this, and I really did like the sequence that took place when the cops pulled over, because it's very tense, because you don't know if they're in on the FBI and whatnot. And there's a sequence where it looks like they are, and he just goes and wipes everybody out, and you're kind of like, oh crap, and then you see that it is a daydream or a night dream, and that a vision, and that is what he would do if this went off the rails. But it seems like everything is kind of going to scale back. But you would think, as somebody who is what he's doing or what he did, he would realize that, yeah, they're going to have photos of him. This is going to get out. This is not going to end well. So he does have a moment where he's trying to get away. He packs the dogs up. He is about to leave, and then he hears glass breaking in the house, in the main house. He goes to check on her, and then he still sticks around because she's going through a moment where her husband has taken enough money out of her bank account that the check for her son's tuition has bounced, and he can't take his test on time. He's like, I'll pay for it. But what's so quiet, what's so great about this scene is that without hesitation, because he knows that no one has been there for her and she's been going through pure hell for the last years, he, instead of leaving, he cleans up the glass and without even hesitating, without even thinking about it, throws it away and then just starts cooking. Because that has been the thing that has sort of eased this relationship, built this relationship, bridged this relationship, is that he's cooked for her. And he just starts making eggs, and she just puts her head on his shoulder. And now the reign of terror from hell that Harold is going to put down on her is coming. So I am excited to see where this goes in the future, to see how he protects this place, how he protects her, how he keeps her on the move, because it's clearly going to be sending somebody who is currently in their prime to go get Dan. So it's going to be interesting to see how the old man, hence the title, goes versus the new man, the new guy who does what he used to do. That's going to be a fun tit for tat. And I love the juxtaposition of Jeff and John on opposite sides, just having phone conversations with each other that feel like the most intense and well acted things that I've seen in quite some time. I'm all in on this show. If you can't tell, I'm giddy. This is going to be this is my wheelhouse. I'm loving it. I would talk here to talk about this every week. Have you seen The Old Man, first two episodes? What did you guys think about it? Go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitter at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name that's on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any other place podcasts. We're there. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.